Hello, I'm Mr. Cruz and welcome to another edition of To Be a Teacher, a video series I'm running all about what it's like to become and train as a teacher and the life it is. As I always said before, this is just unscripted and come from my own personal experience. I'm doing this mainly just to get the ideas out there to potentially help future teachers, but if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that would be really helpful. So let's get started. Last time I talked about whether actually you want to be a teacher yourself, what kind of qualities, what life would be like, sort of more in general. First thing I'm going to do is say, maybe example, you've now decided to make that decision, you actually want to be a teacher. What is the first step on your journey? Well, you need to get qualified. You need to get something known, certainly in the UK, as QTS status. Now, in order to do that, you're going to need a formal qualification, and you can actually go one of two routes with that. You can either go through the BEd, the Bachelor of Education route, or you can go through a PGCE. Now, the Bachelor of Education route is an undergraduate degree, so it'll last you about 3 years, 4 depending on which course you take, and the PGCE generally takes about a year. The PGCE is a postgraduate certificate in education, and it's designed to be done after you have done some form of undergraduate degree. So, which is best? Well, unfortunately for me, I can only really talk about one from personal experience, and that would be the PGCE. I did an undergraduate degree in psychology. I took a bit of a break from education to work a bit, travel a bit, and then landed on that fact that I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I wouldn't say it was my calling in life, but it was certainly something that I knew I wanted to do. So as I already had an undergraduate degree, I had to look into the PGCE route. There is an alternative, which I'll talk about a bit later in the video. So the PGCE lasts 1 year. You do a mixture of assignments and placements, but it is built on the foundation that you've already got some experience in schools, whether it is working as voluntary, a parent helper, whether it's working in alternative educational settings such as private nurseries. But then, unfortunately, it means that you have to be making sure that your education up to that point is also relevant. I mentioned you have an undergraduate degree. Some universities, depending on the undergraduate degree you've got, you may be required to take further studies to make sure that your qualification up to scratch. Because I know for a fact that pretty much all of them will require a minimum of grade C. Well, that's showing my age there. At GCSE, I think that's a pass. That's a 4 these days, isn't it? So there is the BEd, the Bachelor of Education route, is 3 years and it acts as an undergraduate degree. And like most undergraduate degrees, it requires you to not really have any formal experience before it. You just need the minimum GCSEs and A-levels or college equivalent. So, what's the difference? Which one's the best? Well, it's really going to come down to what situation are you in. If you're 17, 18 and you're just about to leave for university and you know you want to be a teacher, you can't take the PGCE route. You would have to take the BEd route. Whereas if you're in your early 20s or mid-20s or 30s or 40s or wherever, and you've already got an undergraduate degree, your option really only is a PGCE. So actually, for most of this decision, it's kind of been made for you. However, if you haven't got an undergraduate degree, but you're not sure if you want to be a teacher, and there maybe is another area that you're interested in, English, maths, science, or any other kind of undergraduate degree, you could always go for that first and then fall back on the PGCE if you think you want a career change later in life. Like I said, I trained as a PGCE student, and there were people from all different walks of life there. People of different ages, people of different backgrounds, different undergraduate degrees of their own. If for some reason we are in a alternative plan where you actually can choose between which one you to take, I personally would say that you should probably go, if you are really set on being a teacher, I personally would recommend taking the BEd, solely because it's going to give you more school placements. The assignment side, and I hesitate because I don't want to say anything negative because this is all about tips and positivity, but assignment side at universities, assignments that are set to become a teacher are important for the sake of getting the qualification, definitely. But when you become a teacher, everything that you have ever used or put into assignment is largely irrelevant. You may pick up some tips and ideas from doing the research, but I have not, in over 10 years worth of teaching, have ever referred to any of the assignments that I did as my PGCE to help me in my day-to-day teaching. I often refer to getting your qualification. The analogy I use is learning to drive. When you learn to drive, you learn all about the highway code, you learn the paperwork, you do everything to pass the theory. But then once you've learned to drive, then you really start to learn how to drive properly, and you really start to learn how to be efficient. It's the same with teaching. The theory is great, and I get why they want you to take it and they want you to learn the stuff to pass and get your qualification. But once you've got your qualification and you've got your first job and you're in teaching, real hands-on experience is the best way you are going to learn, which is why I recommend the B.Ed, because you are just going to get more placements in school. The PGCE is great that you can get the teaching qualification within a year, but you're generally only looking at about 2, 3, 4 tops placements, and you spend only half of the year doing that. That's just not going to be enough to set yourself up to be ready. I mean, you have to be very confident. You think about the dropout rate at the moment on most PGCE courses, it's around 50%, or it certainly was when I qualified. And it's solely because these people are just not getting enough experience in school, which is why before you go into one of these, that's what I would recommend. But I'm going to talk about that in another video. I mentioned alternative. There is an alternative. There is a program called the Schools Direct program. It's kind of the teaching version of an apprenticeship. Now, it lasts a year, and it has the sort of same kind of standards to get into it as a PGCE, being that you need an undergraduate degree and you need the experience to go along with it. So, but the difference is that you are attached to university and you do have coursework, but rather than it being about a 50-50 split between university and placements, it's about an 85-15 split in school, and just that extra time in school is better. I've mentored one Schools Direct student and worked with another, and they just seem to have built up their confidence and built up their skills and ability and experience so much quicker than PG students, just solely because they are just spending more time in school, getting that experience. It doesn't even mean they're necessarily teaching longer, but just being in that environment, observing quality teachers, it is just going to be a better experience for you. So, like I said, unfortunately for most of us, it's kind of already predetermined which one we're going to go for, whether you actually want to take the 3-year course or the 1-year course, depending on what you have. I'm not saying that if you haven't already got an undergraduate degree, you couldn't then take another undergraduate degree. But if you wanted to get into teaching, that extra 2 years that you're spending doing an undergraduate degree, you could do that before your PGCE in like a work placement volunteer basis, even potentially get another kind of job where you're working in that kind of environment where you don't need as many qualifications, and then do your PGCE afterwards. It just would make more sense that way. So there's my recommendations, but you can always choose for yourself. So thank you very much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe. I'm doing this mainly for the benefit of other teachers out there. I've got, like I said, a lot of experience, and I get a lot of questions from many different students that I've mentored, and I just thought it'd be a great place to have a load of these ideas out there somewhere for people to find. So I hope you like them. Please, please, please give me some feedback. I'm doing this off the cuff, unscripted, just sharing my ideas, and I'd always appreciate the feedback. So please let me know. I'm on Twitter at Mr. Cruz Teacher, so please feel free to go over and give it a click. So thank you very much, and remember, it's never too late to learn anything. So take care. Bye-bye.